Kia ora, hello, and welcome to Anyway, the podcast where I unpack the chaos of reality TV. I am your host, Natalie McMurray, coming to you from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Today, we're celebrating an insufferable troll's birthday. Let's get into the valley, episode 15. We're waking up in Mexico the morning after Zach's birthday. He's dazed, confused, and he has a splitting headache. Unsurprisingly. He's also bleeding and has a fat face. Sorry to laugh. In the girls' suite, there is leftover room service food everywhere. Honestly, I've been there. Brittany is in pain because she forgot to sleep with her tummy compression thing on. We then see a shot from last night of the girls trying to get her into her compression thingies. It's a hot mess. Over at Danny and Nia's suite, Danny is acting a fool as per usual. Danny tells us it's his birthday. It's all about him, and he wants no drama. But they're about to go on a boat. All I can think about was the last time these people were on a boat together in Hawaii. Let's face it wouldn't be a boat ride on Bravo without drama. That's why they made these people take to the high seas, so they're trapped with each other. Now all I can think about is how Danny reminds me of Dennis from Always Sunny. Here's hoping he doesn't use the word implication. And as I'm having these thoughts, Danny yells at his wife, "Can't wait to have birthday sex." Bad timing, Danny. Janet is telling Lala and Michelle that she doesn't want to go on Danny's birthday boat ride. To me, it seems pretty obvious why, but Lala still wants an explanation. Janet says last time they were all on a boat, Kristen almost threw her overboard. Lala says she'll stay at the hotel with Janet. Everybody else heads out to the boat. When they arrive, we get a montage of flamingos, parrots, boats, drinks being poured, and nautical 80s themed costume accessories for the Miami Vice party. Jasmine thinks Miami Vice is cheesy and outdated, but at least she knows what it is. Luke, he knows nothing of Miami Vice. He didn't know it was a TV show. He asked the producer if it's like Dexter. No, Miami Vice is not like Dexter. But the Valley kind of is. Schwartz is feeling worse for wear. He got lost in the sauce last night. His words, not mine. Maybe he was drinking to forget that he looked like Beetlejuice in a mesh Temu top. Who knows? Zach and Jasmine are up the front of the boat discussing Nia and Kristen talking about everyone else's drinking and how it's a double standard. They want to confront Kristen later about the situation at dinner. Back at the hotel, Janet and Lala are poolside. Janet wants to tell Lala why the situation with Danny hit so close to home. She explains that when she was at school, she had a situation happen with a boy putting his hands on her. She pretended to everybody else like it was a consensual hookup, even though it wasn't. She says that the whole situation was put on her. She was the whore. And he didn't have to go through any of the pain and trauma. Standard. I'm really proud of both Janet and Lala in this moment. Janet is showing a lot of courage talking about the situation. And Lala is being a great friend and listening with intent. It's clear that Lala empathizes with her. And honestly, it makes me so fucking sad how many other women empathize because they've had to deal with some fucked up shit like this. Myself included. Janet says she wanted to tell Jasmine for a while, but also doesn't want to make the situation about herself, which is totally fair enough. Over on the boat, Zach is determined to give himself another concussion. He hits his head on the roof of the goddamn boat. Like, Zach, please be careful. Can someone get Zach the Penny Hearts helmet, please? I'm sure it's a blessing and a curse being tall. Zach is petting Schwartz's head because clearly he's not doing well. If anyone deserves to be petted, it's Zach. Come on. Michelle and Lacey are chatting. Michelle is telling Lacey that she finds it difficult to talk to her because of internal stuff she's going through. She tells her that she hates the way that they started off on the wrong foot. They both want to get along and move on. They arrive at a beautiful beach and all jump off the boat to swim. Jesse thinks he looks like Daniel Craig coming out of the ocean. The delusion truly is real. Does anyone else get a weird passive-aggressive vibe from Nia speaking Spanish to the locals? It's not on them to make your Spanish make sense, bitch. I'm over Nia, to be honest with you. Lacey is talking to Jesse about her conversation with Michelle. Jesse is acting like an asshole, and Lacey is having none of it. A quality of hers I very much enjoy. Nia is putting everyone to sleep with a story about her 10-year anniversary infinity ring. Jesse wants to know where the fun people are at. I would also like to know. He pulls Kristen for a chat. He asks how her and Luke are doing. She says, much like the nature of any long-term relationship, things go up and things go down. Jesse says he's worried because Luke is talking to his friends about issues, but not to Kristen. He tells her that Luke said if things keep going this way, there won't be a wedding. Once again, I say, Jesse is the messiest bitch on this cast. How are we giving Janet so much shit when Jesse won't stop running his mouth? Kristen tells us that one of her fears in life is being abandoned. I don't want to diminish Kristen's feelings in any way, but honestly, I think that's a fear for a lot of people. And now Jessie has basically confirmed that fear for her. The people head back to the boat. Lacey tells Jessie that she's going to need a year of therapy to unwire what these people have done to her in 12 hours. Well, that's what you get for putting yourself on the valley, Lacey. What can we say? Schwartz and Luke are spooning on the front of the boat, and Kristen comes to talk to Luke about what her and Jessie discussed. Unfortunately, Luke fails to see things as a bigger picture. He's focusing on small issues in their relationship. I get that when you have a baby, you get tunnel vision and things are amplified. But seriously, he needs to work on his foresight and see his life with Kristen as a whole. Perhaps they both do. From the experience of someone who has a 6-year-old, parenting does get easier, but it never becomes the easiest thing in the whole world. Things don't magically just fall into place. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Am I? I may not have a 3-month-old, but I'm also sleep deprived, you guys. The people all head back to the hotel. Michelle gets back to the room, and Lala wants her to know she looks freshly fucked. Michelle says she has not been freshly fucked. Quite the opposite, in fact. She's been crying. Apparently crying does her face good. She looks great. In Benji, Schwartz, and Zach's suite, Benji is rewrapping Zach's head wound. Schwartz decides he's going to wrap his head up in solidarity, which is actually kind of sweet. Over in Danny and Nia's suite, Danny is asking when his birthday loving is going to be. Fucking buff, Danny. We see everyone arriving downstairs for dinner. For some weird reason, Jesse is wearing velvet shoes on a beach. This man makes some weird fashion choices. Speaking of weird fashion decisions that Jesse has made, I was watching the latest episode of In the City earlier, and there was a scene where Andrea was standing there in his Calvin Klein briefs, which to me was the most perfect juxtaposition of Jesse standing in his saggy grey undies on the valley. I wonder if Lacey has had the same thought. Anyway, everyone is hitting the buffet, which seems appropriate for Danny's birthday. Danny is still apparently confused, a perpetual state for him. He's talking to Michelle about how she said he made her feel uncomfortable, which she didn't. And you are making people uncomfortable, bruh. God, this guy. Danny points out that nobody has criticized Jesse for his drinking. And Michelle has to explain to this man yet again that it has nothing to do with drinking. It has to do with behavior. And Jesse's behavior, drunk or sober, is consistent. He's not harassing people, as far as we're aware. Nia comes over to shut the situation down, which pisses Lala off. She wants to know why Nia is always intervening. Both Danny and Nia are now wanking on about how everyone should stop talking about the situation. But to my knowledge, Danny is the one that brought it up to Michelle. How about you idiots stop talking about it then? Kristen and Brittany are discussing how Janet texts the group to let them know what Nia and Kristen were saying. Kristen is losing her shit. She tells Janet to stop doing her weird robotic shit. I don't know what that means, but I half think it's because Janet is dressed in silver. I literally have no idea what she's talking about. Kristen mocks Janet, which is fucking embarrassing. Janet is right. Say it with your chest, Kristen. Say the things you said at lunch to their face. Danny is still rambling on and feeling sorry for himself. Lala comes over and sits down. Jessie basically tells her to piss off. She says no. I want to sit here. He says, well, join the conversation then. That's exactly what she was doing, Jesse. Jesse is considering himself Danny's pit bull. Danny is feeling sorry for himself because he wasn't allowed to gyrate his hips, which makes Lala laugh. And Lacey is seated for this entertainment. Lala is getting activated by the way that Danny is talking to her. Danny reminds us it's his birthday. Like we've forgotten. Nia comes over and drapes herself over Danny and tells him to disengage. She pulls him away from the table. Now, Nia wants to remind us that it's Danny's birthday. Jesus, guys, these two are so gross. Danny walks up to the bar to get another drink. Lala walks over to him, and Nia is standing between them. All of a sudden, Nia and Lala are screaming at each other. Lala thinks that Nia is protecting Danny because of what he will say to Lala. She says, "This is not about you. This is about your husband." Danny says, "Why don't you go to your husband?" Lala says, "To be clear, if this is what having a husband looks like, she wants no part of it." Agreed. She calls Danny a misogynistic, small little Peter Pocket looking motherfucker, which is hilarious. Zach giggles and lies to everyone by saying, "I don't mean to laugh. If we don't laugh, Zach, we'll cry." Danny and Nia are now calling everybody terrible people. Aren't half of those people your friends? Nia storms off. And of course, Kristen chases after her. This dinner has descended into madness, and it was all brought on because of Danny. Janet is now explaining to Jesse that being trapped in a closet with Danny isn't a fucking ideal scenario, for obvious reasons. Apparently, it's only just clicked for him. He now gets it. Nia is boohooing, making out like Janet ruined Danny's birthday, even though Janet didn't do jack shit. Now Danny is crying because he didn't go upstairs with his wife. So go upstairs then. I'm so fucking confused by these people. He's alone drinking at the bar saying, "Nobody cares." God. And that's where the episode ends. Wow, pathetic. Danny and Nia literally can fuck off. Anyway, that's it for today. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for listening. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.